Bonjour, my name is Connor Massey, and today I'll be talking about my trip to Europe I took a couple years ago. Now, Europe was a lot of fun, but it was also a great learning experience and something I'll never forget. For the trip, I took it because I was part of a group called Iowa Ambassadors in Music. What it is, it's a group of band choir students that were selected by their band choir directors, different high schools throughout the state, and would travel throughout Europe. Have different concerts. And the preparation for the concerts throughout Europe was a lot of hard work. We put in 8, 9, 10 hours 3 days before we got on the plane from Chicago and London. But once we got there, it was worth it. Going to the concerts, seeing the people react to our music playing was awesome. The traveling, though, a lot of stress. Getting on the plane and having all the people worrying about, good worried, but still, nervousness and excitement and stress all built into a group of people. With my group of 30 people was not a lot of fun. I'm normally a very good traveler and love to, but for some reason this time I just could barely even take it. But once you got there, it was so worth it. Landed in London July 4th, ironically. And from there we started off on our 2-week adventure. The sights are great. I got to see Arc de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower, Windsor Castle, where all the royalty of England gets to live in. The Swiss Alps, just these towns where they're so old, and it was just something else. Not only that, sites, but the tour guides were awesome. I had one particular tour guide who I finally remember. His name was Nigel. He was our tour guide in London, and he was a lot of fun. He was an ex-cop in London, so he really knew his stuff. He knew tons of facts, lots of things that a lot of tour guides wouldn't know just because he's around. He was around that stuff so much more than anybody else would. When we're having concerts, there's a lot of stuff we could do. We had some free time, and we did a few things. For one, when we were in London, I went around Piccadilly Circus, which is it's kind of Times Square of London, and out just going through the stores and seeing the people and the culture interact. Something that is just way different than I thought. The people I went with, my group, it definitely made it worth it. Within the band and the choir, there's different groups based on where you live in Iowa. So for me, it was eastern part of Iowa, and it was a little bit of stress, a little bit of kind of like a dysfunctional family, just 30, 40 people, but I look back now and I definitely made it worth it because all the funny stories and when people were freaking out about where this one kid on their bus was, he's always missing, and just I was kind of get a little quiet laugh here and there just thinking about it. I learned a lot about cultures and history of Europe. I'm a huge history fanatic, and for me this trip opened my eyes so much more than what I would have reading a book or watching History Channel. Just to be exposed to that culture and the people made it so much better. There are buildings and stores in Europe that are as old, if not older, than the United States is. That is something else, just to have that history in those buildings, the people who went through there. In London, I could have been in a store that Winston Churchill went through. It's fascinating. Not only that, the culture. In the United States, we have a melting pot of all these cultures and people put together into what this country is made of. But in Europe, all those cultures are separate, and they're still alive today. And it's fascinating just to see how it all works and see these towns where they haven't really changed much outside of technology. Not even really the people have changed much. It's still that that it's like just like the United States and Iowa, just really nice town, small town people. One culture experience, I guess called a shock, but I should say, was we were driving through Germany and we stopped at a concentration camp called Dachau. It's right outside Munich, and when you go through a concentration camp, it's a lot different from what you would read in a book or watch in a History Channel special or a documentary, because you don't get the emotions that you normally would if you just watched it or read it about it. You go through, and there's still the giant doors, the railroad tracks covered by the dirt. You go in, it's almost like you take the place, you feel like you take the place of one of the prisoners there. You feel a lot of sadness. Just the area that Dachau covered, that was considered a small one, an average size, even smaller than average size concentration camp. And to think it was that big, and to compare it to something like Auschwitz, Birkenau, Grindelwald, that is just, it's mind-boggling how big it is. There's still the barracks. There's a couple of them that survived. The Nazis, when they left, blew quite a few of them up just to cover their tracks. I went in the ovens, went in the barrack, went in where they had the offices of the SS there, and it's just, it's something else. Still see the guard towers when they put the lights and the barbed wire fences. It's all still there. It's like it still exists, and you can feel just what went on there. Still, 65 years later, it's something else. But as you leave, you get this, you still have the sadness, because it's almost like I said before, it's like you're going with the prisoners, and you're leaving, and you lost most of your family, a lot of your friends, but you're so grateful that you're alive. And that's how I feel, just knowing that I did not have to go through that, and that I still have my friends and family that weren't killed just because of my race or religion, is something that changed me and just made me realize how precious life really is. So overall, I hope everyone gets a chance to go to Europe. It's one of those things that everyone should do. I mean, you can track down your ancestors. I really want to do that. I didn't have time, but that's something I really want to do now, and hopefully I get to do in the future. Get to witness whole different cultures. But people aren't so different from us. It's just that they speak a different language and live a little differently. But other than that, I found that they're just like people back home. And like I said before, Europe, the trip, the experiences I went through, something I'll never forget. Thank you.